I am here in Vancouver. I have been here for a month and a bit. How are you doing? October 14th, 2008. Hello and welcome to another episode of the ramblings of a dead madman. These are stories, ramblings, reading. I'm not sure. All I know is that this is therapeutic for me. And thank you for coming along. That message was from a gorgeous girl in BC. Is that all you have to say? Is there a phone number that I may reach you at? Since you haven't made contact, well, your cousin Umberto had coffee with me the other day, plus his wife. We even seemed to get along. We talked about dog shit, cat shit, rat shit, even squirrel shit, and she seemed to be quite with it. He's fine now, how about you? Do move to Vancouver and move in with your uncle. It's the best option. 'Tis sad you have no faith in me. I hate to tell you, but your cousin Umberto makes up for it, 'cause he got this email. The improved polished, but not connecting you one. From his son, he has in fact lost over 15 pounds, he told me the other day, since he got this email. 'Cause I did not even recognize him at the A&W. I hadn't seen him for several weeks. I was not going to send you this final polished version, except that Johnny noticed that in fact Umberto looks like he has been wearing the same clothes to work as well as to bed. No change, ever since the email. This email went out to many and all, but one have become upset from simple denial to the worst case, Umberto. This email will climax in a few weeks. Then I can imagine you with the biggest, longest, most satisfied smile when you realize its final outcome. But no surprise to you. Well, Shaga was telling me Umberto had changed recently on different ways, but couldn't figure it out, so I explained it to him. It's like this. Umberto is nearly as much as Nostra fanatic as I am, plus he also relates to the Bible and is constantly trying to fit them together to guess what's next. You just would not believe how close he really is to guessing tomorrow. He just hates it when I add something to his assumptions to make it work out. We exchange Nostrophobia whenever the moment lends itself. Anyway, he's gone a little kooky. And John is well aware of this, so he can have another good laugh later. I actually sent an email, longer by at least 1 page restricted, so you can't see it all, over a week ago. But Tony might like to read this also. Reason I'm connecting is that I'm moving, and you want to know. Why? I just can't stand it here with these ceases next door. Also, the RCMPs that were next room have been replaced with a more effective and cheaper informant connected, but unknown. CSIS? Yes, of course. Tony didn't believe me for the longest of time, but just a couple of weekends ago, Johnny and Tony conned me to come upstairs for a beer in the barbecue table, deer-ridden garden. They all ate the many parsley plants. 'Cause I just can't stand to be near these CSISs. CIA recruits, or co-ops. Reason being was because I had refused other times to join Tony and these spies before. Anyway, halfway through my beer, this spy couple shows up, because Tony has now just invited them to join in. Well, my anger swells up now. The spies and I have to exchange hatred for a while. In so doing, though, Tony and Johnny are now well informed, and actually seemed quite shocked and surprised that these are for certain CSIS's spies. Shocked, because he had just had to hear it from them somehow. And indeed, spying on me, the subject now becomes debateless. Spying on me. There is another problem. Tony is hopelessly in love with his wife who has absolutely nothing for him. But indeed this is actually the perfect situation for him, because now he has a woman to look at, to limited company and relationship. Regular relationship doesn't work for him. The stupid spy told me that the reason they and dozens of others at the club, other places, frustrate me is because of the many emails I've sent out. He rebuked that I must stop sending out emails. In fact, I failed to tell him that it was the other way around. If they hadn't pestered me so much at those specific times, I would not have indeed sent those CIA incriminating emails. I didn't tell him that because of his overwhelming stupidity. Their stupidity goes far back into his office, because I actually had to correct the projection of his location and job. He turned quite blank when I told him what his real purpose was. So, still going to Tim's, I will be able to walk there, because I'll be living at Shady Oaks. There was another choice, but for some reason this seemed to be the one for now. Sometimes filling prophecy really sucks bad. Talk about sucking, I haven't been, nor greased for quite a while. I actually went to the witness hall and got a Daniel book to read it, I actually went to the witness hall and got a Daniel book and read it complete. Of course, there are many mistakes on the completion of events. Bad assumptions. Prophecy Daniel 7:8. Yes, of course, I did fulfill this with that incriminating, controversial emails within. The three were Bush, Blair, the one from Down Under, can't remember his name. You probably, with many others, didn't notice that in fact I had also reached all of the Parliament in every case. Their emails are all on the internet. Do you remember that rather large email? President Bush has also fulfilled many prophecies and still needs to fulfill a few more. Things are so tense that I just have to tell you and all who are in fact connected to my email when I sent it out. These totally stupid and ignorant spies have not yet realized that in fact, because of their constant pressure on me, they have indeed made me much more influential than their boss, the CIA Mr. Bush, whom I now have great respect for, because he is indeed the most powerful person on the planet after me, of course. Mr. Bush should soon make the decision which will look reckless at first, but indeed make him the most humanitarian person there ever was. I am writing you not from my suite, but from several hundred yards in the backwoods of here, because last month they created a power outage in the area so they could gain access temporarily to my computer, because they knew that I had been doing much writing. So there had to be something to look at. These ignoramuses stole a pile of information that I had compiled so they could send it out prompt upon a certain action. Anyhow, just now, this fair-sized buck just showed up here in front of me and is not at all afraid of me, but shows much curiosity and is simply studying me. Actually, they got a lot more than they wanted to know, and it instead has cost them a lot. Because now they lost the surprise that they had so painstakingly planned. Simply because they forgot that many others would be in the ready also. Because of their CIA constant and drastic behavior, constant harassment, toward me, I've noticed that the others have thrown away their differences and indeed welded the necessary relationships against the CIA. However, from what I've been able to scan on the tube, I'm still not satisfied. Even though all these others are indeed acting like angry elephants, much more devastating than hungry lions. Yesterday I saw what looked like an Iranian leader starting to crumble before the mountain of problems that have been created for that country. 'Tis sad that his religious leader has not correctly deciphered prophecies regarding this very specific period in time. Well, I have, and it states that in fact the tide is overwhelmingly on their side. Even though it doesn't look so good superficially. One thing for certain is that if indeed Iran crumbles in the next few days, it would be the worst catastrophe for humankind to date. When a parent is so bitter towards his family it has definite and lasting circumstances, this has identical effects that are the same as if it was indeed a curse on the children. I am certain you and the others who paid for this problem will be affected in the future. This is minuscule philosophy, but is very powerful. Anyhow, a very good example. I one day combed Sonia's long and terribly tangled and matted hair at Terry's restaurant. Well, it seems that I made quite an impression on the girl, and Terry, because she mentioned to me twice with her big eyes, Terry's eyes, She found it difficult to comprehend that I had actually combed this little girl's tangled hair without causing her any discomfort, so that I could braid it. Some months later I went to Fiesta with Abby, of course. On that day her parents told her some awful story that in fact turned this youngin's heart to stone. I know this for a fact, because we had gone there again in the next Fiesta. She was completely changed, careless, stone-like. There was a remedy for this if she is interested. Sometimes it works, sometimes not. What everyone else thinks happened for the government to take the children away is just wrong. The brother's beating. It was this incredible change that she was forced to rekindle in her heart in order to survive because of the parents' horrible, supposedly to protect herself story. Another reason I have told you this story is that I need to see Sonia because I noticed a wrinkle in the fabric of time, and this cannot be undone until I spend perhaps just a few minutes with her, even if negative. This time will eventually pass, but problems Sonia has a verse to fulfill also. I will not tell you where to find it, but it is in the book of Daniel. She knows she has an incredible problem, but of course has forgotten that horrible parental lesson. Even the parents don't know the extent of the harm they actually did to this now feelings-empty woman. Talk about the real estate market. It has been slow for a while, but very soon will tumble and never to recover. Never. Yes, never. Neither I nor you will ever see it recover in our lifetimes. Well, this is the third day that I am in the bushes writing you, and I seen that indeed this has not gone by unnoticed. How apropos, such artistic poetry. I had intentions to tell Abby, but she has been really bitchy and ever distant with me. Some months ago I found out the Bala, the black beauty that seems so interested in her, my info instead, is in fact a special agent for the English MI6. This is the UK equivalent to the CIA. Another reason for telling you this is that these MI6 had in fact tried to connect me with one of their agents just lately. This took them many months and they succeeded. They however made one mistake, because I had been studying this other couple, which was obviously MI6 for quite a while. The problem was that this woman and her doctor friend backup mingled too much at the club with this other MI6 couple. Studying the doctor, well, he was clearly of English background, no doubt about this. 100%. The second time I saw her, I told her about these spies. She seemed puzzled and denied involvement. So I was more persistent the next time, and she did admit she was a spy. MI6. I'm finding it difficult to comprehend that such supposedly highly intelligent secret agents are actually expertly trained to behave much like the dreaded 6th graders that no one wants to deal with. In fact, they act hyperly worse. Okay, I've now figured it out why it is that they harass me so badly. They get paid overtime for it. For instance, last week, this drunk was giving me a hard time right away. I sensed this was another CSIS agent aggravating me. Because this is quite regular at the bar for me. Even Johnny has witnessed this one night. Anyway, he couldn't have been drunk, because his reflexes just didn't match his stupor state. It gets better. There were about a dozen people in that little area behind me, and they didn't match the response to the act either. Therefore, these must have all been CSIS's also. Reason? They were there to make sure this monster didn't get hurt by little me. I actually need another day to polish this email, but I feel the need to send you this email shortly after getting home. Forgot, I really blew it because I knew to contact Sonia when she stripped here at the house for Tony's bachelor party. The guys put too much alcohol in the pop she was drinking and damn near killed her. She could barely sit and could not walk. Well, I just couldn't stand it and went to my suite. Didn't want to be part of that.